We are here and ready to go.
Excellent. Let's start off with this clip before we do our
Okay.
intro.
Yes.
This is
Thank
very
you for
urgent.
joining us.
Thank you for joining, everybody. We have a clip for you. It's, of course, the infamous Joe Shane right now with some more evidence making him look like a bad general manager with a quote here that just seems very go with the flow autopilot. Here we go. Hopefully it's loud enough.
All right, so then
You hear it?
back here with Daniel, and we're gonna try to get him a weapon. That's doesn't work out. We're good with that? Yep.
We good with that. If it doesn't work out with getting at a quarterback, we'll just roll with Daniel and get him a weapon.
Uh,
Before we get into that, this is the mother and son post-game show for the New York Giants. We're at the postseason at this point. It's basically preseason, though. As they've said in episode 5 of Hard Knocks, it's preseason. So this is the preseason show for family bonding for the New York Giants. We want to start off with, of course, I like that. Where'd you get that?
the same place I got your sign from. I just kept this one for myself.
Yes, that's great. Yes, I like that. So, but of course, please make sure you like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Make sure you follow us if you don't already. We've got a Twitter account or X, or whatever you want at this point to call it. I'm still gonna call it Twitter. But all of our social medias, please. There'll be links in the description and all that kind of good stuff. Just let's get right into this because we have a lot to talk about. Mom, why? Why did the Giants have to do this to us? I'm glad that this is the last episode that they're releasing until, you said, what did you say? Until the first week against the Dolphins, or was that preseason? What was that? You said
We
they
have the
would,
first season for the Giants next
you
week.
said something about
First game, I mean.
Hard Knocks. They won't come back until when? You said something before we start.
Oh yeah. So Hard Knocks begins with the regular preseason Hard Knocks with the Dolphins. That's the next one. So they
Oh
finished up Hard
God.
Knocks. Yeah, they finished up Hard Knocks with the New York Giants. With the episode they released on the July 30th, and that was the fifth and final episode. And I have to say, I'm not sad. There's not going to be another episode because
Me as
I
well.
I I felt nothing from all, but misery from all 5 episodes. Just misery.
It was rough. I couldn't do it because it just felt like we were dealing with a different David Gettleman-esque like situation where the general manager is just going through the motions, taking this a joke, like it's a joke, and not really being serious about the situation, making half-ass decisions and ass-backwards decisions, trying to not pay Saquon, and then also trying to look for a quarterback to replace Daniel Jones is just mind-boggling to me. And then now, because they couldn't get the quarterback after they desperately tried to move up, now they want to get the weapon for Daniel Jones, who, by the way, according to my mother, who told me earlier, who she obviously got from sources by ESPN and all that jazz. Um, Daniel Jones isn't looking too good at practice, and it's looking like Drew Lock will be taking the starting position for Daniel Jones. So I can't
It's
stress
part of
enough.
the discussion. It's part of the discussion right now. That's
If
allegedly
that's part of the
what's
discussion,
coming
that's
out of
not good.
Giants camp.
That's not good. If that's part of the discussion, that
Yeah.
that's not good. I can't because what that means is there's enough evidence and enough for them to feel that Daniel Jones isn't ready. And to me, if we were supposed to be all in on this guy, who again is coming off an ACL injury, and we chose to go with him instead of Saquon, and then the better the Eagles perform with Saquon, and we don't without him, it's just going to look worse and worse as the season progresses. So that's where we're at right now. Last episode focused heavily on the first draft pick and the rest of the draft between the second and third round, who we got. And you could see that there's a lot of autopiloting going on where everyone's kind of just going through the motions. And it doesn't seem like everyone's making the right decisions. You've got Joe Shane sitting there praying that somebody would still make a last minute decision to switch picks so he could get a
Literally
quarterback.
praying.
He literally was praying and sitting there and wanted somebody to just be like, we'll switch picks so that you could take Drake May or someone. But they ultimately went with Malik Nabors, which, by the way, they didn't look too thrilled at for the few seconds that they had to make when they made the realization that they had to pick him. They didn't look too thrilled.
No.
Which means what exactly, Mom? That they're not thrilled that they have to go with Daniel Jones. So my question to you is, why didn't we pay Saquon again? If he did not look thrilled, he looked so upset. He was like, Malik Nabors. That's basically how he felt.
Yeah, that's it.
It's unbelievable to me that we would pay Daniel Jones. He tears his ACL, and then we choose to bank on him to come back. Not even the same, but at least somewhat the same. Which he already wasn't good before. So he's a worse version of himself, which is already bad. That's what we were banking on.
Yeah,
And then at the last second,
that's
we
it.
wanted to back out and switch to try to get someone like Drake May at the third pick from the Patriots.
Good old Drake May. That's, they were scrambling to do something that made sense for the season, but literally scrambling. And I have to bring up, shout out to LaShawn McCoy, Shady McCoy, who was on the herd on FS1 Today Live. And when he was on set talking to Colin Cowherd, he said something that it just made a lot of sense. First of all, he said Joe Shane, who he worked underneath, in his career, is like a shell of himself. He doesn't even seem like himself. He wasn't the guy, the indecisive guy, the scrambling guy. And he also commented, because he was on the Bills, and he said he worked with Daboll, and Daboll, is one of the best coaches you could have. And you have these guys who excelled outside the Giants franchise, and now they're looking like clowns. And one of the things that stood out in what Shady McCoy said today was that watching Hard Knocks, it's off season with the New York Giants, is like watching guys trying to figure out their fantasy football teams.
Oh God.
And as you all know, people like me and the Sun and you out there, you do fantasy football. We are not executives working for an NFL team. So to compare what we do as amateurs, as people who are doing things for fun, maybe you make a couple bucks from it, I don't know. But still amateurs, not professional people on salary with a franchise football team, NFL team, comparing us to what they were doing in the Hard Knocks off-season with the New York Giants, and they're scrambling and trying to figure out what to do, and should we get this person and call this person, and how do we mix and match, and then the comment that we played earlier, we'll just roll with Daniel Jones.
To just say you'll just roll with him, it just sounds like you don't want to do it. It sounds like you're just being forced to do it. Yeah, we'll just roll with him, I guess. That's just what
we have no choice. Off. That was a no choice quote. We'll just roll with him. We just go with what we have. It's definitely not a soundbite of satisfaction in what you have before you on your roster. It's just not.
Certainly not a foreshadow of a good record either.
No. And the fact, and I'm sure many of you would agree that the fantasy football comparison, it's exactly what all 5 episodes pretty much looked like when it came to the front office conversations and how they were their rationalization around everything. And right now, they're banking on Malik Nabors, and the question is, we're praying, and yes, he looks good in camp, yes, but we still have Jones throwing the ball. Our O-line is still sketchy. It's not a solid O-line, and we don't know what's going to happen when that first snap of the first in-season game takes place. Just like we were banking on my former nephew Saquon Barkley to make plays. Now we're looking out to the wide receivers, receiver to do that.
Right.
And he's a rookie.
With a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
And all the way, by the way, Brian Burns, the guy that we just traded for to get, he's hurt. So
allegedly it's not, and allegedly that's not, a big deal. Dayball tried to play it down,
Mr.
but we
Hothead
don't know.
Dayball.
Mr. Hothead Dayball, we don't know if it's really going to be something that is going to hold him Burns back from even getting a snap in a preseason game. But they probably will hold him back from if the injury is nagging next week, they will hold him back from that game next week, from that first preseason game. And I think that the first actual in-season game that the Giants have will be Follies. I used to use this term
Yes.
5 years ago. The Follies of the New York Giants. We're going to watch live Follies again of them, fumbling around and literally fumbling around. Jones, getting picked. It's just
don't lose 40-0 again. The
oh
opening
God.
game. Just don't do that again. Opening game.
It's just an embarrassing situation, and I don't know that Neighbors. He's talented. Is he talented to make up for the other issues that the team has? Probably not.
Saquon wasn't. And
no.
Saquon's a generational talent.
Oh my God, he's getting so pumped up. I won't even go into that, but they're pumping up that guy so much because he's on a squad, not unnamed squad, that has a lot of weapons around him, and good for him. But it just, every time I'm going to see that guy on the field this season, it's going to upset me because it's the idea that they were so comfortable letting him go, and now we're now forced to rely on a rookie, who may or may not be able to get the ball in his hands. He's got to get the ball. I mean, we need that ball thrown from a quarterback. Who will it be? Who will it
It doesn't
be?
matter who it is because we're going to lose all of our games. I just can't. It's not good. It never was good, and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to get better. We have a lot of, first of all, that whole office is going to get fired after the season if it's a super failure because of the way they looked, because it looks so unorganized. People were asking so many questions like they weren't sure, but still making decisions while not being sure about them. It doesn't make any sense. The fact that they just seem so nonchalant and we're like, we'll roll with Daniel if we can't get the quarterback we want. But then why did you let Saquon go? This will be probably regarded as, if it's not the worst, it's one of the worst franchise decisions in Giants franchise history. And that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It somehow is worse than what Dave Gettleman did. Dave Gettleman, as bad as he was, we never lost Saquon. We at least paid him and figured it out.
Yeah.
But damn, the fact that they couldn't figure it out, and we're supposed to be better. This is supposed to be a different version of the Giants. It's supposed to be a new era. We never left the old era.
No,
it's continued disappointment. So, yeah, the draft picks were good for what it's worth. Those draft picks that we got this year were good, but in the first 3 rounds. But again, you have to take it with a grain of salt now after seeing the inside of how everything panned out. It just doesn't sit right with me, my mother, and I'm sure many Giants fans that have been watching. Like I said last episode, I'm terrified to see what comes out next. I'm glad it wasn't as bad. I mean, it couldn't really get much worse than what we had seen, aside from just the fact that, again, the last minute trying once again to see if somebody would trade to get somebody else, and it didn't happen.
We've got some comments in the chat from Greeny Green, which Greeny Green sounds like it could be an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
If you are, thanks for watching. But he said, let Saquon and McKinney go for nothing. And yeah, that's true. It definitely
it seemed intentional too.
Yeah.
It's not, we didn't let him go for nothing. They chose to give them away, is a better way to look at it. Because they were unrestricted free agents. They could leave if they wanted to. They chose to let him go in a way that they thought they could get them to come back in if they matched the offer. But when people are saying that they'd want to stay, why kick them out the door so they could go find somewhere else to eat? It doesn't make any sense.
No. We've got someone who says they're from Italy. Tutu Azori. Tuto Azori. He says Giants fan base, all diehard fans from across the pond. Well, hello, Italy. Yes.
Yes.
And it says greetings from our entire rugby team. I'm sure rugby's in the Olympics. Is there a Olympics rugby team? I have no idea. But if there is, good luck.
I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure there is. Yes.
And thanks for joining us. Yes, it is wherever you are in the world, the story is the same. The Giants front office are a bunch of clowns.
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't.
It's all an ultimate. They ultimately failed. They're all failures. They all look stupid. I would imagine it's going to be very hard for these people to find jobs after this, if they get fired from the New York Giants office, because a lot of they all look like buffoons. And if these picks that we have don't ultimately execute and have a improvement, we don't have to be in the playoffs. We don't have to have a winning season. If we can just improve from what we were last season, which was we won 5 games. It's 5 or I can't even remember. But if we can improve from that, even if it's just 3 games, so be it. But I don't expect anything. I ultimately see Malik Nabors being frustrated and basically not wanting to be a part of the team because this quarterback situation is going to be an atrocity and a circus act. It's going to be horrible.
Mm-hmm.
What do I think about preseason and how we should look at it this year, this kind of time around? Because last year I was looking at it as just, did they improve? This season, I just want to see if there's even anything. What is our identity?
Yeah.
What are we? Like, what can we do? Is there even anything promising to look forward to in a specific player? Forget the whole team. Is there a specific person that I can have as my new Saquon, where it could be like, that's the guy that gets me hype every football game? Will it be Malik Nabors? The mother has alluded to that the Giants are praying and hoping that Malik Nabors will be the savior. Putting all of your hope in a wide receiver that requires a quarterback to get the ball to him.
And there's that.
It's as bad as their logic to not pay Saquon and then immediately start looking for quarterbacks in the draft by trading. Like it doesn't make any sense. I've never in my mind thought that the general manager of a sports team could look this stupid. But here's Joe Shane proving me otherwise. That you can in fact look stupid while managing a sports team. You just got to you have to be dumb enough to sign the waiver saying, yeah, expose me. Because that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
I think that the whole family situation, that was it. That was it for me. I didn't need to see anything. Nothing could have gotten worse after the whole asking his children for their advice. And then the whole, when he picked Malik Nabors, he said, I got to get him a jersey so I can get one for my son. John Mayer looked at him like, he's like, I promised him. And then I'm just like, why do you have to mention his son again? Why does he got to keep mentioning his son?
Because that's who pulls the strings on the puppet of Joe Shane.
You know what? You're right. He's the puppet master.
He's the puppet master.
You were about to say something. I apologize. What were you going to say?
Yes, Greeny Green clarified, not an Eagles fan. So great. Thank you.
Packers, probably.
The name, the Greeny Green profile name is definitely deceiving. And our friends Ciao Bella and in Italy, I'm trying to I'm trying to read it here. I think Olympics rugby is not allowed because of it's such a harsh sport, so it's too harsh for the Olympics rugby. So there you go. Yeah, so yes, he clarified that. So thank you, Tuto Ozori. Greeny Green says, I'd rather Shane's kids be the GM? Well, it's possible
I mean,
they may have paid Saquon.
I don't know. They're the ones
It's
calling all the damn
possible.
shots.
It's
They're calling all
possible.
the shots. He told his dad to get him a jersey as soon as they signed Neighbors. He immediately is
Yeah,
seen on camera saying, I got to get him a jersey quick so I can get one for my son. Why is he bringing up his son?
right. Why was that top of mind in that moment?
That was the first thing he said after they picked him to John Mara. Not, I think we got a good one. I got to get him a jersey so that I can get one for my son. I promised him. Where is his focus?
Where is his focus? Not that he shouldn't think about his family, because everybody has a
Yeah,
family,
no,
should
he
think
could
about it.
definitely do
But
that,
but in that moment, knowing the Hard Knocks off-season cameras are there.
thank you.
He is not thinking, he's showing he's not fully present and mindful
Nope.
as to his activities around him and what's supposed to be important in that moment. He's thinking about frivolous things such as buying jerseys for his child.
Exactly.
He somehow, I really believe he thought that mixing in the family stuff was going to make him more endearing and lovable. I think he felt that, but didn't understand the context of Hard Knocks. Maybe he not hadn't watched an episode or a season of Hard Knocks in the past and didn't realize how invasive it is and how much it's focused on, especially front office and conversations that shape exactly what is going on, what takes place behind the scenes.
You know what you
Could
just said
he?
that just sparked my memory?
Yeah,
Remember what he said in the first episode? Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
yeah.
But this is important because it ties into what you're saying. In the first episode of Hard Knocks, Joe Shane said, if you asked me to put on a sportscast radio station on the radio right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't listen to any of that. So that means he's not watching anything else like that either. He's not watching Hard Knocks like you said. He's not doing any
Yeah.
of that extra stuff because he said, I don't need to hear that. So my question to Joe Shane is, can you take criticism? Because if you don't want to listen to what the radios are saying, and they're talking about management in the New York Giants, because usually that's what's happening in the offseason. They talk about what the front office is doing, what the decisions are. Your name's being mentioned, Joe Shane. Do
Right.
you not feel comfortable hearing what they're saying about the Giants and what your moves are and how you guys are playing things out? Does that get into your head? Are you unable to handle those kind of things? Because New York is not a place for any of that kind of stuff. You've got to be able to understand that you are the general manager of the New York Giants and that you need to understand that what comes with that is a lot of hate right now and misery in
Yeah.
terms of the fan base. The players are
Yeah.
tired of losing the games because it's not just the fans. Players hate losing just as much as the fans hate watching their team lose. The players don't want to lose all the time. The players can only do as well as the coaches are coaching them and are allowing them to exercise their ability and show what they can do. If your coaches are not doing that for the players to help them out to improve, they're suffering just as much as the fans are. The only people who aren't suffering, as far as I'm concerned, are the general manager, the owner, and the coach that is tied with the general manager. Because let's be real here. If Brian Daboll gets fired, Joe Shane's probably going to be leaving with him because they came in together.
Most definitely.
They came in together. They're not going to split. They came in together. They will leave together. I really do firmly agree with what my mother said earlier when we were talking about this. They will all be fired if we have an even worse season or just as bad season after all of this was revealed. They will all have to be fired. I can't see Joe Shane having a job after letting his children influence his decision in the draft. I'm never going to let this. I'm never going to let this go for as long as I live. I will always come back to this. For any time we have a bad time or it's another terrible season, I will come back to this moment where I was horrified when I watched him. I had to, you know how many times I rewatched that scene? I rewound it 4 times. because it was mind-boggling to me that he had his little girl who just turned 6. They revealed she turned 6 in episode 5.
Yes,
So he
yes.
asked
She
a
wasn't even, so she
6-year-old.
was 5.
She
was
was
5 years
5 at
old
the
at the
time
time.
of the fucking question. So let me get this straight. He asked a 5-year-old to pick a name out of the people that he wrote down that his son picked out. She picked out, and just so happened to point at Malik Nabors' name.
Right.
And he just said, all right, that's probably who we're going to go with. What? No, no.
And
no,
they did.
no.
And they did.
Unwillingly. They didn't want to do it because they just said, Malik Nabors. I will never forget that too. His face. He was disappointed when the Patriots picked Drake May. He literally was like this. He was like, Malik Nabors. Who does that? Who does that? Who? I don't know. The whole thing, it's a tragedy. From losing Saquon to picking Malik Nabors, and it has nothing to do with Malik Nabors. It is how we did it.
Yeah.
All of it is a tragedy. It shows
Yeah.
no lack of organization and communication skills, lack of professionalism to actually identify a good prospect or a good draft pick, if you will. Trying to make sure you have the right resources in place to trade up if you really wanted to do that. And if you made the correct moves to keep Saquon and somehow finesse Daniel Jones to go somewhere, which, by the way, would not have happened because
Right.
no one is taking him.
I don't think he's not even worthy of a bench or
If
even
they,
a practice
and here's the
team.
thing, if they think that somebody would take him, they're just as delusional for thinking that getting rid of Saquon and then trying to find a quarterback to replace Daniel Jones made sense. Delusional. I don't understand. This is not the Giants that I grew up watching. I just realized I've been watching football for 25 years. The last 8 years have been so horrible. It basically erases the rest of that. It erases all of it. I can't even talk about the old rings anymore and be happy about it because everything that came after that, you might as well, you could argue that we sold our souls for those rings because we have nothing since then. We don't even have an NFC championship. We don't even appearance, let alone a victory, an appearance. We haven't made it past the second round in the last 10 years. And the last time we made it in the second round, that was a fluke anyway, because we got to beat the Vikings. And Daniel Jones fooled everybody, myself included, and made me and everyone else believe that he definitely was the future in that moment in time. And the Eagles took it away. And then it just got worse from there. They took it away from themselves when they paid Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
It doesn't get any worse than this. This is the lowest. No. This is the lowest that you could get as a New York Giants fan.
Yeah.
This is the lowest you could get.
And we'll see, whatever they've been putting together, I guess, I believe August 7th, a circus act. Is a preseason game against the Lions, I believe.
Oh, God.
I believe I have that right. It is not, it's definitely not a promising situation.
Nope.
But we do, again, the season is going to be starting very soon, and we have to just roll with what they put up for us. Just like they said about we're rolling with the rest of the whole team they put to the whole squad. It's August 8th. I think I said the 7th. It's August 8th at 7 p.m.
I can't believe
that is that Lions game, and we'll have to see what happens.
Daniel Jones isn't going to play any preseason.
I don't think I think just like I'm hearing the Jets are most likely not going to play Aaron Rodgers.
They should not. He barely made it past 4 plays.
They're not going to do that. So I think the Giants probably will take that same approach and not play Jones for the reasons of not to aggravate anything ahead of the season and then keeping him fresh. I don't think it'll make a difference.
We can't even call him Danny Legs anymore.
No, No,
He's not going to be able to
and
run like that anymore.
no, and yeah,
Wow,
and
he's really
that,
done. Oh, we're cooked. We're cooked this season. Oh,
yeah, and
oh
one
no.
bad tackle, he had the neck injury too, and one bad tackle could aggravate that. I mean, there's just so many things that could go wrong.
Oh, we're cooked.
So
Oh no.
they're trying to save him for that, but maybe the offensive line has been working and brewing up something that's going to be protecting of their quarterback.
No shot. No
We could
shot.
only hope, but I doubt it. Once
No
again,
shot.
I want to say that this season probably will be our angriest season of doing this podcast yet. It'll be our angriest one yet. And
It'll be angrier. Somehow, this is gonna be worse than when I freaked out at Mike Glennon for having -10 passing yards. Some,
I
I
forgot about
lost it.
that.
I lost it. And that idiot Joe, whatever the frick his name is, Joe Schmuck, he said that he was proud of how they performed that game. In the same game that Mike Glennon had -10 throwing yards. You can't make this up.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that coach. And I can't remember his name either.
He's
He's
Joe
forgettable.
Schmuck from now on.
Yes, very
Joe Schmuck.
forgettable. And the other guy I called the fat guy, McAdoo. I called him the fat
Macabum.
guy.
I hate Macabum. Egregiously ruined Eli Manning's starting streak for no reason. For
Yes.
no reason.
Yeah.
Oh, the Giants
This-
from the last 10 years
this-
have been a nightmare.
It's just
It's been a
shenanigans. All
nightmare.
types of it's just all types of shenanigans. It's just and insult to injury is going behind the scenes.
You know what we are?
Yeah.
We are if the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions had a baby and made the worst franchise you could think of. That's what we are right now.
Oh no.
Because between the
gosh.
shenanigans of throwing away Saquon, that's very Detroit Lions-esque. Overpaying a bad quarterback, Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, yes. They did do that, didn't they?
We've managed to make two major franchise mistakes that two other franchises have done. And those same franchises put themselves in a 10 to 15 year hole of misery. We're almost at 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Colin Coward was right. We are the new Detroit Lions and Cleveland Browns. Only way that's going to change is John Mara needs to fucking retire. Let his son take over.
Yeah.
Joe Shane, fire him. Brian Daboll, fire him. Fire everybody that's there. Everyone. I mean everybody. Just fire all them coaches. Fire all the staff. I don't care. Clean up the whole damn thing. And replace everybody once again. Because after this Hard Knocks, none of them can be trusted.
No.
I anything that they say, you always have to take with a grain of salt now. There's no credibility. They've lost everything. I don't even think they realize most fans probably are done with them. And if they do realize that, that doesn't help the situation either.
No,
but
it doesn't.
More people are done with them than they think. And I wouldn't be surprised if I see a lot of empty stands or empty seats rather in the games.
There will be. And let me just say this. Another team who we can't stand, but also has been struggling for the last 20, but actually for longer than the Giants is the Cowboys, right? I was looking at something today. They had these pictures from a training camp. I don't know if it was a fan or something, but they took pictures and it was no fans watching training camp in California for the Cowboys because they play out in California. They do training camp out in California. And one of the things that I did was I looked at the comments to see what people were saying on that video. And I would say 95% of the comments were from Cowboys fans, and they all were saying they're not going to games. They're not going to buy any more merch. They're done. They're tired. They don't believe the whole Jerry Jones all-in crap. It's stupid. There was so much and this is unusual for their fans. Yes, they're always, one guy even said, I bleed blue and silver, whatever their colors are, but I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And Giants fans are going to have that same comments. They're going to feel that same way.
I don't want to go to
And
games.
yeah, I usually go to training camp. The open training camp, I usually get it. I make sure I'm available and get the little free tickets that they
The
give
fact you
out.
didn't ask me was volumes, because you always ask me. You
Yeah,
always
and
ask
I
me.
didn't even look to see when the tickets are going to be released, because they, it's always a big deal. They release the tickets because it's limited space, blah blah blah. I didn't even bother. I did not even bother because it's not worthy of my drive to their training facility to go watch them do what? Try to figure out what to do, have no plan. Try to, see a Daniel. Probably I would have been even more disturbed about Daniel Jones if I saw him in person in training camp,
Yep.
because apparently he has been screwing up in training camp. That's why they're talking Drew Lock,
I'm
because
curious to
what
see
they're,
what their
yeah.
stands will look like when they invite fans out to practice. They shouldn't invite fans to practice.
Yeah, there's a game that they're doing their fan fest thing that they always do right before the season starts. We've never gone to that because it's just a bunch of frivolous nonsense. But but I'm sure they're gonna have it, they're having it again. And I guarantee there's gonna be less excited fans. People who have little kids, it's an activity they may go, but
Less,
adults
probably
who are
more casuals
fans,
will go.
yeah, yeah,
Casuals will go,
yeah,
not real fans.
yeah.
You won't see me there.
But
I'm not
right.
going to any
Adult
Giants event. I don't want to support them at all.
Adults who have a choice to be somewhere else will choose somewhere else. If you're just
Yep.
looking for a place to take your kids, it's a great thing to do with them.
Yep.
But beyond that, no, no. So the fact that Giants fans and Cowboys fans are really aligned in how they feel about their squads is very interesting. And I never thought I would see so many negative comments from Cowboys fans about their team and what's going on and all the
They haven't been
shenanigans and
to a
not
Super
paying,
Bowl in over 30 years. It's been like
and
31
they're not,
years.
holding out on paying CeeDee Lamb. I mean, it's just all the decisions. You could see where the turmoil is in the teams that are struggling. And it's all front office stuff.
Holding out on paying CeeDee Lamb is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So well, I will say one last comment we got from Greeny Green was he doesn't understand. Greeny Green doesn't understand why he didn't trade for Justin Fields, and I agree with that. That would have been a good
Justin
move
Fields would have
too.
been better than what we have right now. It would have been a fresh start. He's more athletic. Daniel Jones, his arm, I would argue, is better. It's just he didn't have a line. His line was just as bad as the Giants were. Um, that being said, the Giants line is not that much better. So I don't know. We'd have a better situation for sure, but would we win a lot of games? Probably not. Um,
Yeah,
but it would be better than where we are now. I agree.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wish we did do something.
So
But the Giants don't do things that make sense. We just watched the whole five episodes of behind the scenes of them doing the exact opposite of their jobs,
yeah.
asking children for advice, making crazy gambles on players, and asking a whole lot of questions like, is there anybody who's more valuable than Saquon?
Yeah, yeah. It's
It doesn't make sense. So I don't think I have anything else I could say about this. There's nothing
No,
new
I
to
think
really
I
bring
think
up.
we've covered a lot, and we've gone over that last episode, and the true episodes of the Giants are going to be play out live in games. That's where we're going to see the real
Ugh,
the culmination of all of the crap that we saw that happened in the preseason. Well, excuse me, off season they called it, but still it's preseason really.
every
But
game's gonna
we'll
have such
see.
different context. Every
Yeah.
game. Whenever
Yes.
Malik Nabors
Yes.
is yelling on the sideline,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
can't.
just going to be that.
I can't.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us once again. We'll probably do a little something after maybe next week if time allows. We'll try to come back and maybe talk about the preseason game that's coming up on
I'll
the
watch
eighth.
it. I'll watch it just because I mean it is Giants football, but I'm not watching it expecting much. I'm watching it
No.
to critique.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I guess
um
the good news is that the football season is it's imminent. So that's good.
yay. First time in many years. Like I said, I've been watching football for 25 years. I'm not really excited
Yeah.
for football.
Yeah.
I just know it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
Well,
even be
maybe
delusionally optimistic. I can't
Yeah.
even do it. When Saquon's on the team, you can be delusionally optimistic. We no longer have that opportunity to do that. I don't know what else to think other than failure. I'm
Yeah.
being brutally honest. If we win if we win more than 5 games, I will be thoroughly shocked. And 5 is a generous number, by the way. So it is what it is. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always, guys. Make sure you drop comments. I know it is going to be a recording at this point by the time anyone's watching this. But it's fine. Let us know your thoughts. We always like to see what you guys think. And don't forget, let's go Giants. We will let you guys know what we think about the first preseason game next week. We will more than likely just go live after the game, right? We can just go live after the game.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, let's just do that. So, but all right, guys, that's it for now. We'll see you guys next week, right after the game. Go Giants, and pray we don't have as much misery as we're expecting.